Coming down loud in the back of your mind. Pass away the time of day. Never seen a sight like you before. Try to make you warm. Feels like a fight. You can never win, but together we can try. Because of you. Barely knowing I'm need to feel it. Oh, because of you. Got me feeling like the key to life is something simple. You got me feeling like happiness is all we're meant for. I can't control it, but I know that we were headed somewhere new. Oh, you place I have with all night. But if me on the stars, I just can't get enough. No, I just can't get enough. I'm ready for life, ready for nothing. I felt so alive. It probably feels like falling in love, 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 love. Probably one day, spoke up in the place that helped me the whole night. But if I'm me on the stars, I don't want to. I just can't get enough. No, I just can't get enough. Be the one you're looking for. Be the one you're looking for. And I can see you when we get something right, when we get something. I'm downtown, and everything goes. And all I want is you and me. Underneath the concrete, time to breathe, time to feel. I don't know why I lose control. Maybe because you are too good for me. I tried to love the place at home. No, all I know is you and me. Under the big concrete, I'm too free. Time to get around. So fast, oh yeah, please so fast, you underneath this boundary, now I'm free, now you're here, I see what you're doing, underneath this boundary, it's you and me. I'm the big hungry. I'm so free. Time to get around me. I'm so good at something you know. I'm the big hungry.
We were glitter in the sky. I'm longing for those fearless nights. Your dust has settled in. I guess we were shooting stars. Feeling we were shooting stars. We were shooting stars. Get very far, we were a breath away from lightning in the dark. One love, one single chance, a tiny little spark that turns out to be a dying star. We were glittering skin. I'm longing for feelings like your dust. I guess we were shooting stars. We were shooting stars. We were shooting stars.
What's coming down days? Would you change your mind, and making me stay? Maybe some my plans. I don't wanna pack my bags. I don't wanna leave all that we have. We have. I'm getting closer on the flight home. Just give me a million that I can't let go. I want to only see your feet. Every that I want to make. Another pictures of you I could take. I don't wanna sleep every moment awake. Still 1,000 pictures of you I can take. Everything that I wanna make. All the pictures of you I can take. Every moment awake. The pictures of you I can take. All of these nights, we're trying to get close in our time. Just talking about life. I don't wanna change our plan. I don't wanna leave all that we have. We have. Oh, I'm getting gorgeous on the side. Home. You gave me a feeling that I can't let go. I want to hold you, know. Reason that I want to leave. The picture of you I can take. No one in every moment away. The picture of you I can take. Pictures of you I can take.
Talk face to face. There's no way you could mistake him for your man if it's safe. You know that you may be the bitch jealous of me, but you're blind if you can't see that his love is all in me. Yeah, today. You wanna say what he told me? Sing it on me, couldn't make it through the day after the shame. It's understood. Can see how we could. I just like that I so good. But boy, it's mine to give it up. I've had enough. It's not hard to see. But boy, it's mine. I'm sorry that you tend to be confused. He belongs to me. The boy is mine. The boy is mine. You do the things you do, you keep on and I don't know it's me, not you. And if you didn't know it, girl, it's true. That you should realize I understand why he's a part of my life. I've had enough. It's not hard to see the boy is mine. I'm sorry that you tend to be confused. He belongs to me. The boy is mine. The boy is fine.
We're alone now, we don't know where to go. Yeah, we said it. 17 riders solo. Just not always fast. Myself give you second chances. It's like it's colder. Promise I won't break to pieces. Rolling through the different seasons. Oh, stop. What do you wanna know? You have to know it. You say so, you know. The future. Don't have to know it. You don't have to know about it. You think so, just don't know. You gotta know everything. You wanna know. Driving round, we're driving with the windows down. Look out, the sun is coming out. Can't even find a single cloud. I feel the wind in my hair, feel it on my skin. I just wanna breathe it in. Your kisses taste like lemon jam. It's just you and I. Sunshine on our minds. Drowning in your eyes. But it sounds to be alive. It sounds to be alive. It's you and I. Drowning in your eyes. Drowning in your do to me. I don't know what you do to me. Undeniable chemistry, like magic between you and me. I wanna go where you are. I'm alone. Shall we keep cruising down this road between you and me? Now, it's now. It's you and I.
up down the highway back to Dallas, Dallas. Wake me up in Rio. Baby, we got so much left to see you, see you. When we wake up, don't stop feeling. Keep your light, don't stop believing. All our sense will be forgiven. Making wake me up. Dallas, Dallas, you are the real. Baby, we got so much left to feel, feel. We were not wrong, that you know back, stop believing. All our sins will be forgiven. Maybe wake me up and heaven. Dallas, Dallas, make me up and real. Baby, we got so much left to feel,
At a crossroad, I will meet you there. When the sun's falling gold, I should, cause it's a long distance. Try to make it up with I've been thinking while you're gone. Away here at the crossroad. Try to make it up with away here at the crossroad. Away here at the crossroad. Away. And when it's late at night, I will know you're there. I'm never on my own. I can feel you everywhere. Cause it's a long distance. Try to make it home. Never on my own. I've been thinking while you're gone. Away here at the crossroad. Away here at the crossroad. Away here at the crossroad.
Wanna believe that you don't have a bad bone in your body. But the bruises on your ego make it go by when I Wanna believe that even when you're stone cold, you're sorry. Tell me how you got me so I let me tell you one bit. I told you right here. Stay by your side. I'm very sad. Don't know why you're wanting for the other. I'm helping life. Don't want it. Please don't. I know you need the upper hand even when we are fighting. Cause in the past you had to prepare every time. I mean, don't wanna leave, don't wanna leave. But if you're gonna fight, then do it for me. I know you feel to let broken after just trying to hide. And now you chose the wrong fears. I told you right here. Stay by your side every night and morning for the afternoon. Myself and I don't want you. You can be kind. Don't want you. This world's gonna go. Oh, pick up and enjoy the ride. Waste and will till sunrise will carry us home. I promise I'll stay by your side. Take up and enjoy the ride. Take up and enjoy the ride. Waste and will till sunrise will carry us home. I promise I'll stay by your side. Take up and enjoy the promise I'll stay by your side. Take up and enjoy the promise I'll stay by your side. Take up and enjoy the
No, I'm scared to let you in, 'cause I've been hurt too many times. New York's got a hold on us, so ready to let it ride. I need someone who won't me down, make me feel good, better than I ever thought I could. I need you to tell me nothing but the truth, 'cause I got a good feeling how you. I need someone to keep it on now. Give me updates in the morning. Somebody will touch my body, make me feel so right. I want to know that we are someone to keep real love me like that. We'll be like this. We'll be everything I get on kids. When they say, take up in the air, if I give you all me, you give it.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. And just a reminder, we've come out of in-camera. So we have turned on the live feed, and we'd like to welcome everyone joining from back home, whoever's listening in. So we've dealt with a number of issues in camera. Next on the agenda, we have our resolutions. So I'm just waiting for the team to hand out all the resolutions. There are 5 resolutions going around the table. So we'll get right into them. I just want to make sure we have quorum, actually. Just a reminder, quorum requirement is 23 in the room. And I know we had several, a very high number registered this afternoon. So I just want to make sure. We do need quorum to make decisions and to have a vote. So we're just doing a quick count. I know there's still people out grabbing some supper out in the hall. So we do have quorum chiefs that are online as well as here in the room. So we do have resolutions. We're going to get right into it. We do have resolution. The first one is resolution 2512. So 2512. It's titled Reaffirm Support for Implementation of the 7 Youth Inquest Recommendations and Establish Dedicated Funding. The mover is Chief Russell Wesley, who I know is around, but is not currently in the room. If we can't find him right away, I'm going to ask for another mover. Seconder is Proxy Matthew Anges, who is in the room. If I can you just see if Chief Wesley is around? But what I will do is I'll read the resolution. And if we don't have a mover, I will ask for a mover. The seconder is here. So you do have a copy. We also will go through it on the screen for chiefs that are online virtually. So the resolution is again 2512. I've read the title. So the resolution reads, therefore be it resolved that Nan Chiefs and Assembly hereby reaffirm their direction to the Executive Council to advocate for the implementation of all recommendations and to work with the First Nations organizations that were parties to the 7 Youth Inquest. Further be it resolved, the Chiefs and Assembly direct the Government of Canada to immediately secure the investments outlined in the joint 5-year proposal for 7 Youth Inquest activities created for Budget 2025 and submitted to Indigenous Services Canada in September 2024. Which this funding will provide the necessary resources to First Nations partners for the completion, maintenance, and enhancement of all recommendations, and will ensure students have access to high quality, equitable, and effective secondary education services and programming. Further, be it resolved, the Chiefs and Assembly call on the Government of Canada to ensure that in the interim, all inquest-related applications through Jordan's Principle and Choose Life be immediately processed on a priority basis using the same assessment criteria from prior years. Finally, be it resolved, the Chiefs and Assembly remind the Government of Canada of its legal obligation arising from the treaties and fiduciary duties to First Nations people from the Nan Territory, and that on and off reserve location cannot restrict First Nation education and healthcare funding frameworks intended to benefit First Nation students. dated at Toronto, Ontario, this 21st day of May, 2025. So again, we have the seconder. Can I have a mover to the resolution? Can I have a mover? Chief Merle Loon, actually, just for the record, can you? Yeah. Thank you.
Chief Merlin move this resolution.
Okay, miigwech. So at this point, I'll open it up to the mover and seconder, Gishbenwi Kano Daman, the resolution. Just a reminder again, I know it's late in the day. Our youth co-chair had a really good line. Keep your comments or questions concise and brief, and we'll get to the decision. So mover, if you wish to speak to the resolution.
Miigwech, Mshkiwagwang, Merlin. I won't say too much, but part of why I'll move this, I know it was presented with this earlier today, but I didn't have a chance to respond. But you know, one of the youth that's one of the 7 youth is my nephew, my cousin. He's always been a part of my life, and he's always going to be a part of my life. I did a tattoo strictly just for him in memory of him, and I guess I could share the story of why this is very important, that we need to, we need to reaffirm and proceed with all these recommendations that were recommended back when these were made. But yes, our youth are our future, and we always have to support that. We always have to fight for them, right? So with that, that's all I really want to say for nothing.
Miigwech, Chief Loon, seconder. Matthew Angis, Gishbenwi Kano Daman.
Matthew Angis, proxy for Owagavon. Yeah, we, the non-education committee, we've been meeting, and we've been meeting with ISC, and we have the same struggles as JP, Jordan's principal, and Joe's life. At the beginning, a lot of work has been done by NNEC and Matawa. A lot of recommendations have been implemented. But due to the changes, the funding kind of decreased drastically. So I urge the chiefs to support this, pass it. Thanks.
Miigwech, we've heard from the mover and seconder. Any comments, discussion, debate on the resolution? Again, it's very straightforward, but very strong resolution. I'm looking online, nobody in the room. Last call. Questions being called. Thank you. Any opposition to the resolution? Any opposition? Carissa, if you can monitor online for me. No opposition. Any abstentions? Abstentions? Last call, abstentions? None. So resolution is carried by consensus. So thank you. Miigwech. Next resolution is 2513. So we'll have that up on the screen. You also have a copy. 2513 is titled Support for Missing and Murdered Indigenous People, MMIP Funding. I'm just going to look to the mover and the seconder. The mover is Chief Sherry Taylor. She's here. Seconder is Chief Rick Allen, and he is here as well. So it reads, therefore be it resolved that NAN Chiefs and Assembly endorse and fully support the implementation of MMIWG Calls to Justice 9.4 and 9.8. Further be it resolved, the Chiefs and Assembly reaffirm the mandate of Resolution 1678 to fully endorse and support the recommendations of the 7 Youth Inquest, including recommendations 91, 94. Further be it resolved, the Chiefs and Assembly call for the establishment of a specialized Indigenous policing unit to respond to MMIP cases, staffed with experienced and trained officers, which can establish investigative teams and officers overseeing the investigation of MMIP cases. Further be it resolved, the Chiefs and Assembly direct the NAN Executive Council to work with the governments of Ontario, Canada, relevant organizations, and stakeholders to improve the safety and other outcomes of NAN community members deemed as MMIP. Further, be it resolved, the Chiefs and Assembly direct the Executive Council to advocate for the required culturally appropriate supports and resources, including sustainable and adequate funding to enable the response capacity of NAN communities, tribal councils, and NAN for missing persons cases. Finally, be it resolved that this resolution is without prejudice to NAN communities, tribal councils, and other First Nation organizations and individuals that may make separate submissions for government funding in relation to MMIP. Dated at Toronto, Ontario, this 21st day of May 2024, and again moved by Chief Sherry Taylor, Ganoogaming First Nation, seconded by Chief Rick Allen, Constance Lake First Nation. So I'm going to ask the mover and the seconder. Chief Taylor, if you wish to speak to the resolution.
Good evening, everybody. Chief Sherry Taylor, Ganoogaming First Nation. I strongly support the resolution. We have to keep the government accountable to the calls to justice as outlined in the 7 Youth Inquest. Also, we find that they're just piecemealing a lot of the funding that should be there on a throughout our inquest. The funding should be made available to our communities. This is important to us. We're dealt with just scraps of funding, and we're always in awareness mode. They are aware of the injustices that have happened in our communities with our women and children. And we share a missing woman between ourselves and Constance Lake, and her name is Autumn Shaganash. Say her name. We need to say their names. Her and so many others remain missing, with little done in regards to mainstream policing, media. There's not enough attention brought for our missing women and girls. And we have to ensure that the government is accountable and provides the adequate funding and resources available. Miigwech.
Miigwech. Chief Allen.
I also support this resolution because we have 2 community members that been gone missing for a long time. One was shared with Sherry and Chief Ganoogaming. And then we have our own that's been missing since last year. His name is Dean Matnas. His name should be out there as well. The impacts that it does to communities is you don't feel that until you get that feeling from the families, from the community itself. They seek funding, and sometimes it's difficult. But it's just bring the closure back to the families, is what we try to do. But to have, as I said, it's the policing service is not where it should be, and how they handle our investigations or move forward on how things are done in our communities. Sometimes it's too late and all the evidence is gone. But again, I support this resolution because I faced this tragedy in my community in the last term that I was chief. So I strongly support this and hope all you do support that. I don't want this to ever fall on your shoulders as a chief or as a member or have that kind of stuff. It's kind of difficult for the community and the families as well. So this is why I fully support this resolution. Miigwech.
Miigwech, Chief Allen. Miigwech, and Chief Taylor. So the floor is open. If there's any comments, questions, discussion.
Go ahead.
Chief Beardy. Yep.
Hi there. Thank you. So I am going to support this also, this resolution in regards to missing and murdered Indigenous peoples. For many years, when I took on a leadership position here, back in somewhere around before 1960s, give or take, 2 of my family members were taken, and I've suffered, I guess, what you would call intergenerational trauma. One of them we found is laying in Brandon, Manitoba, and his name was Donald Beardy. He would have been the oldest of my family, my dad's older brother. We found him, but there's still one more that we can't find. Her name is Abigail Beardy. She was taken as a child somewhere around the age of 3 and came back when her brother had drowned in Round Lake, where a Komatsu tractor train went through the ice. And my uncle that drowned that time, his name was Zebulon Beardy. And she was contacted that time. Somehow she got wind that her brother drowned and came back to the First Nation for a couple of days. And what happened there was that she did not have her indigenous language. She did not hold it. She lost her language to the residential school system. And that broke her heart, where she could not communicate with her mother and father, my late grandparents. And I recall I was 4 years old at that time when she left the community. And like that, she vanished once again. Just vanished. We did not know where she came from, but she vanished. It's by coincidence that I searched for her and came upon her son, one of her living sons. Her name is Peter Beardy and lives in Victoria, BC, is a retired RCMP officer. And we established that contact this last weekend. Given the brief conversation I had with him, he asked me a lot of questions that I couldn't answer. I asked him a lot of questions. And the thing I asked was, where's your mother? He did not know where he is, but all he said was last known location where I was taken to a child family services foster home was in the Toronto area. So he was predicting that she died somewhere in the Toronto region. And as a leader, I'm stuck. How am I going to find her final resting place? And I need to find her. Like, it's kind of a must. If this is going to bring some sort of a funding envelope in regards to hiring somebody to find her, I'm all for it. Thank you. Bye.
Miigwech, Chief Beardy. Any more comments, questions? I'm looking online. Last call. Very strong, again, support resolution. So with that, I'm going to call for question. Any opposition to the resolution? Any opposition? Last call. I see none. Any abstentions? Abstentions? Any abstentions? None. None online as well. So with that, resolution is carried by consensus. So, miigwech. Thank you. Next resolution is 2514, and I'm just going to confirm both the mover and seconder are here, Chief Marshal Beardy and Chief Russell Wesley. So it's 2514, remote airport infrastructure funding for required upgrades. So the resolution reads, therefore be it resolved that NAN Chiefs and Assembly call on federal and provincial partners to equitably invest in remote airports, to work with NAN and regional carriers, given the lack of investment has impacted human rights of Indigenous peoples by inhibiting access to essential services, including more rights confirmed by UNDRIP. Further be it resolved that Chiefs and Assembly call on the federal government to amend the National Airports Policy, that's NAP, to include an essential service airport standard to adequately fund the required investments in remote airport infrastructure that will improve safety and access for remote Indigenous communities. Finally, be it resolved that Chiefs and Assembly call on all responsible parties, including Indigenous Services Canada, ISC, Health Canada, HC, NAV Canada, and provincial and municipal airport operators to work collaboratively to address the significant funding shortfall and infrastructure gaps at remote airports in Northern Ontario. Dated at Toronto, Ontario, this 21st day of May, 2025, moved by Chief Marshal Beardy, Bearskin Lake First Nation, and seconded by Chief Russell Wesley, Cat Lake First Nation. Not required, but Chief Beardy, if you want to speak to the resolution.
Hi. So I support this resolution due to many reasons. In a sense, I guess I'll say that our airport infrastructure is inadequate to accommodate some scenarios such as emergencies and so on. And I feel like as a First Nation people, we're still discriminated in that sense. Our runway is pretty much inadequate, I'll say. Like we had about a month ago, we had a near collision of a Beech 1900 coming in for a landing, and on the taxiway was a Bazar, like something like a DC-3, those big freight planes. So the communication between the pilots there was, I don't know what's going on, but the report we received was they indicate there's a black zone there where for a few seconds radio communication does not exist, a blind spot, so to speak. I don't think these blind spots should be on airport runways. If the Ministry of Transportation can identify that, why haven't they done anything? Our runways are also like when it rains, you know, like the aggregate there gets sticky and has planes stuck in mud, where often we would have to send an MTO operator to go on the runway, pull that aircraft out. So that is why I support it. Thank you.
Very good. Chief Beardy, Chief Wesley.
What Marshall said.
I like that.
No, seriously, our airports need improvement. I've been to some of their remote airports and they're pretty dismal. You know, a lot of them need resurfacing, a lot of them need nav aids. But I think my preoccupation is mainly on flight duty hours as affected by this issue. My community is rather unique because I'm serviced by VFR air operations that are also a tourist outfitter operator. So pilots get timed out all the time. And what results is up to 80 patient loss, patient travel losses per week. So, well, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you get the idea. So when pilots get timed out, that's what happens. And what we've actually had to do is we've actually had to charter our patients out in agreement with FINIB. So you know, airports are a critical part of our infrastructure. We need those, and they need to be safe and reliable. We've had 3 instances where Orange they didn't want to come in because of weather issues, because we didn't have the right nav aids for them to be able to get into the community. So that's why I'm supporting this.
Very good. Chief Wesley. So the floor is open. If there's any discussion, Chief Allen.
I think at one of the last Coup Chiefs meetings, I think it was in Six Nations, there was a resolution passed to this effect. Maybe that could be attached to this. I know one of our non-community bands was part of the resolution, so maybe that resolution from Coup could be attached to this, saying is there any work that's being done on these runways, airport runways and stuff like that, just to look into or something. Good.
Okay, very good. So do you want that incorporated in the resolution or just put them together and sort of follow up on both? Okay. Okay. Yeah, mover, seconder. I don't know that we have a copy of that that specific resolution. I do recall, but I don't know that we have a copy. It might be easier at this point just to sort of give direction that we put them together and sort of make sure we take action. Is that okay? Mover and seconder, Chief Wabas. Now, on this, remote airport infrastructure funding for required upgrades. One time, about 20 years ago, there was a presentation here by the airlines pilots and the managers. And one of the thing they highlighted was the length of the runway. They're limited. They're too short. And if you had expanded the airport runway, the cost would come down. That's what they're saying. Like the air freight cost would come down if you expanded the runway. So my question is to the mover and seconder. In this resolution, expanding airport runways, are they? Is there going to be funding, or are we going to ask for MTO to expand runways? Yeah. Marshall and Russell. Okay.
Chief Beardy, we'll put you on the spot.
Are
That's
we going
fine.
to look into expanding airport runways?
Okay, couple years ago, I think, when was this? I can't remember. Oh yeah, okay. 2019, Bearskin endured a flood. This is where I was very vocal in regards to trying to get a very large plane known as a Hercules to come over to my community and pick up community members by at least 100 passengers, if not more. And I had at the time inquired about getting a Hercules on those POC calls, Provincial Emergency Operations Center calls, and everybody was on that call, the province, the MPs, everybody, Red Cross and all that, the Army. And what happened there was that at that time when we inquired, bring the Hercules over here, pick up our people. And that's when somebody came from the Ministry of Transportation, Ontario, saying that our airport is too short. It's too short. The Hercules cannot land and pick up your people and again, it's too soft, they were saying. But I recall in the 80s where my community was evacuated and it was much shorter back then. The Hercules landed at that time and picked up our people. So in regards to your question about airports being extended, that is my hope that the currents will occur with our First Nation communities. I'm really hoping that's the case, it's just like yesterday that we experienced that 2019 flood where a Hercules could not land due to soft ground, soft runway, and our runway was too short. But we tried to say it's sufficient. It can land and pick up our people and go to the designated area of where my people were supposed to go for that duration, that evacuation that was a period of 2 weeks. And it's my hopes that your question there, Chief Archie Wabas, right? That I'm hoping that will be the case. Yeah, thank you.
Migutch, you're comfortable with that response? You're not asking for an amendment to be put in, or you're good?
I think it should be recorded in the and therefore be it resolved that that chiefs and assembly to work with
to work with the MTO, ISC, NAB Canada to look into expanding runways in isolated fly in, fly out communities. Something to that effect.
Okay, so
Yeah.
up on the screen in, I don't know what color that is, orange maybe?
Yeah.
So we've added, resolution team has added, including the expansion of airport runways.
Yes.
That's good. Mover, Chief Beardy? Are you okay with that amendment on the screen? Done. It's in orange. It just adds, including the expansion of airport runways.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
We're just reading over the resolution here on the back page, the top there, just addressing the need for more capacity for infrastructure upgrades is being proposed is what it says. So it's in there.
Yeah, so that would cover it, but
Yeah.
this actually spells it out like
Yeah,
specifically as
understood,
well. So
understood.
you're okay with the addition?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
Yeah.
seconder? Chief Wesley.
The resolution is okay. The fifth whereas covers it as well, and then the first therefore also covered that. But I just wanted to remind the assembly that there is a group that's already dealing with this. It's called NOAC, and many of those things are being addressed in that forum. I don't know where Jennifer is, but it is being dealt with. So I don't mind that addition there. That's good.
Okay, so it was already covered, but addition is fine. Okay. Chief Kuzis.
Okay, Bojo. I don't know if you can add something there. Like the airport is a connecting factor to the community, and it's a community lifeline. It's a remote lifeline we have up north. So I don't know if that could be included.
Okay. So if you're asking for that, that would be an amendment probably in the whereas somewhere, just sort of a strong statement. That it is, okay, we'll go to Chief Gabo. We'll just deal with this first. We'll be right back. I'm going to look to the resolutions team. Maybe I can go to, in the meantime, while we're waiting for that change, I'll go to, yeah, I'm just looking to the resolutions team. All right, you'll come up with something. We'll continue for now. Okay. Chief Gabo.
Okay, thank you. We have a similar situation with our airport too. You know, where it's too short, so the Hercules cannot land. And it's usually during firefighter, you know, the forest fire actually season. And it's a safety concern too. So if that could be added onto the resolution.
Okay, so I don't know if the resolution team heard that, but the fact that it is a safety issue as well, especially during firefighting season, that we need reliable runways if there are fires. So that is a health risk. So I'll give that to them. They'll come up with something. Anything else? Yeah, Chief Gagnon.
Yeah, I come from a road access community, but I hear a lot of issues of drugs going into First Nation communities that are flying. And I just don't see anything regarding security to be added. You know, we have more security at the airports of people coming in with drugs, and that's all I need to say.
So I'm looking to the resolutions team because I know Mike and Luke sort of will know about previous resolutions. If that is required to amend this resolution to add security, I'll let them have a discussion. Chief Gagnon, very good though. I'm just thinking in the back of my mind, there might be other resolutions dealing with the security issue and preventing drugs and alcohol coming in through the airlines. There is one? Okay. So apparently there is a resolution calling for what you just called for. So you're okay with that? Okay. And we'll stick to this actually infrastructure on this one. Okay, so are you ready? Can I read the, they're just adding. So the first whereas, if you look on the screen, it's orange. The addition is whereas airports connect remote First Nations and are critical to the well-being of the First Nations. Whereas, I don't want to jump the gun here. Are you still working on it? We're good? Whereas airports are critical to the safety of First Nations, including access to firefighting and other emergency services. So those are two requested amendments. Mover, Chief Beardy, are you okay with that?
I'm fine.
Okay, seconder? Yes, okay, very good. Any more discussion? Second call? Final call? Online, nothing online. So I'm going to call for question. Any opposition? Any opposition to the resolution? Opposition? None online. Abstentions? Any abstentions? Nothing in the room, nothing online. So the resolution is carried by consensus. So, Migach. So the next resolution is 2515. Everybody should have a copy. We'll have it put up on the screen. And this one is titled Chiefs Committee on Treaty. So we do not have a mover or seconder. I think this was just probably drafted based on the last discussion. But I'll read the resolution and then I will ask if we have a mover or seconder. And just because we don't have a mover and a seconder, it's probably the first time you've seen it. I'm going to read the entire resolution. Whereas the chiefs of Treaty 9 and Treaty number 5 recognize that court decisions interpreting their treaties have strong precedential character and treaty-wide impact because they are binding in perpetuity, and there are several major treaty cases underway. Whereas the chiefs agree that their legal positions will always be strongest when they are united and consistent about their treaty means and their positions do not contradict each other. Whereas a process is required through Treaty number 9 and Treaty number 5, nations can direct and approve treaty cases raising issues that will affect all nations who are party to the treaty, and that such a process must be led by NAN member nations with NAN in a supportive and convening role. Therefore, be it resolved that NAN Chiefs and Assembly, number 1, direct that a Chiefs Committee on Treaty, CCT, be struck immediately. 2, direct that the membership of the CCT shall comprise one chief or grand chief to be appointed by the CCT be appointed to the CCT by each of the following: Shibogama First Nations Council, Wendigo First Nations Council, Waban Tribal Council, Uednagogumakanak, Matawa First Nations, Mushkegowuk Council, Independent First Nations Alliance, and independent bands, and the NAN Executive Council. Number 3, direct NAN's Governance and Treaty Implementation Department to draft terms of reference for the CCT to be presented to the first meeting of the CCT for approval. And 4, direct NAN's Governance and Treaty Implementation Department to convene a first meeting of the CCT by September 1, 2025. Dated at Toronto, Ontario, this 21st day of May, 2025. So in order to start discussion on it, we have to have a mover and a seconder. Is there a mover? Chief Archie Wabas, thank you. Seconder? Chief Merle Loon, thank you. So we have a mover and seconder. Mover, we can done.
Yeah, I support and I move this resolution. I think we need the Chiefs Committee on treaty related matters. because because of the rising litigation cases on treaty. And we need to kind of organize ourselves collectively through ANAN. And I'm hoping that the Chiefs Committee on Treaty will have that kind of, you know, put out some sort of a guide to the chiefs to, you know, this is the call for if you're going to do a litigation or a class action or something. There is a Chiefs Committee on Treaty, so we would like to, you know, get our organization involved through to deal with the concerns and issues on treaty. Yeah, we will have a lawyer or a lawyer to help us with you know, the review on these arguments on these cases. So I support it. I think we need the Chiefs Committee on Treaty. Thank you.
You got Chief Loon?
Chief Loon, one. So a lot of times in my past addresses here with our past meetings, I've always addressed the point that we're warriors in this, and this is part of it. Now that we're fighting, you know, and defending our treaties, we have to have that warrior attitude again, that mentality that it's a fight. It's obvious of what the government's doing with this Bill 5 and everything else that they trying to implement with their laws. And yes, I think it would make sense to have a committee to speak on our behalf as that nation. I'm a firm believer in that, and having that committee represent that nation is obviously an obvious thing to do in my mind. And because I really want to represent my people to the best of my ability, and having somebody there represent us as that nation would make sense. Language.
Migutch, floor is open. Chief Nishnawbe, and then Proxy Linklater, and then Chief Taylor, and then Deputy Chief Brown.
Bonjour, Migutch. Thank you very much. I just had some questions on this treaty treaty resolution. My question would be this committee would not restrict First Nations. I don't think that would be possible because the First Nations are autonomous treaty rights holders who defend their treaty rights in their territories in their area, and that's what's been being done already across the country, like the Blueberry case. So my question is how is this committee going to work with First Nations who have that autonomy to move forward in court cases without limitations, with anybody limiting their decision to move forward in a court case? You know, I think that this treaty should be focused on collaboration and support to the First Nations, and the First Nations also collaborate with this body, this new body, this committee. So that'll be my question, because I'm kind of concerned about that. That if there is a position that the First Nation takes that's unique to their area, to their First Nation, that you know, that's to be understood by this committee, that there can be any limitations or suppression of the First Nations attempt to file a case. Thank you.
Migutch, Chief Nishnawbe. So I'm going to ask the mover and the seconder, but just sort of recognize that this was a technical presentation. So Grand Chief is available to help out, and Amy is still here. She made the presentation. She's available as well. But mover,
I thank Bruce for your question. I think we should recognize that. I think we should address this on a resolution. I think something like a non-derogation clause should be mentioned. I would ask lawyer Amy to come and explain. We're not restricting First Nations that want to challenge their own belief in a treaty issue, a treaty case. Or my thinking is the committee will be there to help you with that, right? Okay, if you could come and explain, we're not going to be restricting First Nations if they want to pursue an argument. Thank you.
I'm not a lawyer. But I understand the concerns and the points that were raised by Chief Benescom. I think what I would suggest to the mover and the seconder and to the Chief's Assembly here is that the terms of reference of this committee, the mandate of this committee would have to come from the Chief's Assembly. So I would just suggest that the work to develop the terms of reference and that mandate should start now and then bring it back in August at the QN conference for the chiefs to ratify and give that mandate to this group.
If I could speak to the resolution. I guess the resolution is calling on NAN, our Chiefs of the Assembly are calling on NAN to establish a Chiefs Committee on Treaty. And it says in the resolution that the committee will draft up terms of reference. All right, thank you.
Okay, Miigwech, Chief Waba. So I just want to make sure the resolutions team has that. So there's a recommended addition from the Grand Chief. You've got that? Okay, so we'll see if this covers it. So number 3 would just add the in orange Treaty Implementation Department or its successor. Number 4 again, or its successor. And then it adds further, be it resolved that the CCT shall respect the rights of treaty First Nations and shall collaborate with those First Nations. So that was the first suggested amendment. And then Grand Chief sort of presented maybe, do you want to? I know they were working on the amendment, the other amendment.
Yeah, just to repeat what I said earlier, what I would suggest to the mover and the seconder and to the Chiefs Assembly is for the resolution committee to maybe insert a clause to say something along the lines of that the work to develop the terms of reference and the mandate of this Chiefs Committee, it needs to start right now, but it needs to be brought back to the Chiefs Assembly perhaps at the next assembly, which could be the QN conference in August, for the Chiefs and Assembly to review and ratify. And that would give this group the mandate to become the then Chiefs Committee.
Yes, I'm good with that, but I think what he's saying is that it should be recorded that it's going to be brought back to the Chiefs and Assembly to review that terms of reference. It should be recorded.
Yeah,
it should be mentioned.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm telling them.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
what I'm telling them to do. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I've got a list here. I just want to deal with this first. And if it's going to take a bit, I'll move on, but I'm looking to the resolutions team. They're just drafting the amendment. And I'll just wait for it to be highlighted in orange. So after that, you have to bear with me. I might have messed up the order, but I think I'm going to Chief Taylor, Proxy Linklater, Deputy Chief Brown, and then Proxy Batiste. Did I mess up the order? Okay, I think I did. I think I did mess up the order. Apologies, Chief Taylor. I think it was supposed to be Proxy Linklater and then Chief Taylor. But we're just working on the amendment here. Yeah, we'll give them a second. We'll come. Oh, are you almost done? We'll give them a second. Proxy Victor Linklater.
So if you're gonna do a Chiefs Committee on Treaty, and Grand Chief just got up and talked about, let's give them time to work on the vision and the mandate of that committee, then this resolution 2516 should be put on hold. So they could do that work. Because there's some things in the Annex A that actually is very concerning for autonomy for First Nations to go down that route if they want to abstain from any collective class actions or go something on their own. So I would suggest that if you're gonna work on this resolution, 2515, and I'm fine with the revisions, but they need time and space to actually do 2516.
Okay,
So,
I hear you.
yeah,
Maybe what we can do, I mean, we can't deal with the next resolution until we get to it, but I
yeah,
think everybody hears what you're saying.
yeah,
Okay.
it's just, and we just got the presentation today. I get it, the Chiefs Committee on Treaty, and I was pretty sure like 2 years ago, we had a presentation in Thunder Bay on treaty, and a number of chiefs got up and said, I volunteer to sit on this committee. So I don't know if there was ever a resolution put on the floor, but we may already have a resolution for a treaty committee, is what I'm saying. Or maybe it wasn't done, but it was definitely talked about.
Okay, so here's what I'll suggest. Everybody hears you. So when we get to that resolution, I'll come back to you sort of to repeat that. It makes sense, so I'll come back to you. Okay, thank you. Chief Taylor.
Yeah, good evening, Chief Taylor, Ganugumeen First Nation. This is a simple addition. I'm just asking to include number 2, inclusion of additional technical support staff from tribal councils. This is a big piece of work that will need some assistance. Thank you.
Okay, so I recognize the resolutions team is working on the other amendment. And I don't know if they heard the proposed new amendment. Okay, you got that. Okay, thank you. Are we done? Are we done with the other amendment? I think we are. So I'm going to go back to number 4 up on the screen. It's in orange. So here's the requested amendment. Directed the work of NAN on the CCT terms of reference, TOR, shall commence immediately and shall be brought back to the Chiefs Assembly for review and ratification. Mover, I want to take mover. Chief Abbas, are you okay with that? Number 4, guys. Oh, it's yellow over here. Okay. My version is orange. I keep saying orange. You guys are probably wondering what's wrong with that guy's eyes. It's yellow.
I think number 4 should say direct NAN. Direct NAN to work on or to draft CCT terms of reference. Something direct, yeah. Direct NAN to work on, yeah.
So I'll just give the team a second here. Okay, so right now, it's not my place to comment on resolutions, but usually you're directing, like, who is NAN? So usually you're either directing the NAN executive or somebody at NAN. NAN is a broad, yeah.
NAN executive.
Okay, I guess.
Whoever has that portfolio. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm looking to the team again. So it now reads, number 4, direct the non-executive to immediately commence work. Oh, sorry, it says direct the non-executive council to immediately commence work. So mover, you're obviously okay with it? Chief Abbas? It's your amendment, so Migane.
I think we have a department. Can somebody clarify, we have a department, non-governance treaty implementation department? If that's the case, I guess they'll be the ones that would draft the CCT to TOR.
Okay, so I'm just looking to the team here. Just give me a nod when you're done. Okay, so it says direct the non-governance and treaty implementation department or its successor to immediately commence work. So mover, good. Seconder, taking Chief Loon was a seconder. I lost track of the seconder. Yeah, Chief Loon, you're okay with that change?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Just, I want to put a comment out here, Chief, just to justify why I'm okay with it. And it goes back to where as long as you keep everybody in mind and everybody, you consider everybody in this committee and in this fight. Me and then the one. So however this is going to be worded, we'll have to acknowledge that we're all leaders here, we're all chiefs, we're all elected, and we consider each other and we respect each other in whatever those marching orders will be by our nation. Yeah.
Okay, Miguch. So the other change is in paragraph 2. Right at the end, there's an addition in yellow. It reads, and that the membership shall include technical staff as appropriate. Chief Taylor, was that you that requested? Does that do it for you? Good. Okay. Yeah, so they can hear you.
Just, are we going to like be detail and put from tribal councils, or is it just technical support staff as needed required?
What do you propose? And we'll give it to the resolutions team. Would you like to include tribal council technical staff? Chief Taylor, I'm looking to the resolutions team as well. Would you like to include tribal council? Okay. So I'm looking to the team here. And then once we've done that, again, mover and seconder. Okay, so now it says, and include technical staff from tribal councils and others as appropriate. You're good with that? Okay, mover? Seconder, Chief Loon? Good, okay, Migach. Next we have Deputy Chief Brown. Alan Brown.
Thank you. There's something I wanted to, but I kind of found it in the other resolution. I'm sure they will come up. Anyway, any processes that we do on behalf of the First Nations, there's always something missing. Meaningful consultation to our community members. And this is very vital and important and crucial for our members to understand where this is leading. When I got the elected, my chief emailed me the court case that's already happening, and he was asking where do we stand? And I couldn't answer. I still can't answer where we stand. You know why? Because of my community members. Because they don't know what's going on. And they don't have an idea what's going on. And that's where it's at the chief's level. It doesn't go any further than that. And if we need to go further or whatever other endeavors and issues that we're going to move forward to, it's important that we do have meaningful consultations with our community members. It's very important that we do. And I know it's a little bit but it doesn't clarify though, resolution of 2016, but it's down the road. So I just want to mention that we need to establish a meaningful consultation with our community members and in areas that's very important to them. Thank you.
Migach, proxy Jason Batiste.
Yeah, I wanted to follow up on some of the line of thinking of proxy Linklater. Just I think we're a little bit ahead of the game here in the sense this resolution is directing the committee without it having a mission and a mandate. And I would like to see the development work come back to the assembly for approval on mission and mandate terms of reference. Then you activate the committee. So I would ask that number one be amended to direct that work begin to develop the CCT and including its mission, mandate, terms of reference for return to the chiefs for their consideration so that we can understand, because right now there's nothing in this resolution that says, well, what are these guys going to go away and do? What's the work? I'd like to see the development first, and then even the assignment of members from tribal council and who sits on the committee. So that's my request. Certainly, chiefs and technicians and I can work on it as described, but I think it needs to. If we could amend number one to establish the work and then return to the assembly for blessing of the mission and mandate in terms of reference.
Okay, Migach. So I'm looking to the team, and I just want to make sure that you've got what proxy Batiste is looking for. We're good. So up on the screen, Jason, in yellow. So here's what the team has. Direct the work be done to develop a mandate and vision for the Chiefs Committee on Treaty CCT. Does that do it? Okay, mover? Yes, seconder? Okay, good. Chief Gagnon.
Yeah, I think my question was answered on number two. I just wanted to question the composition of this committee. Saying that Chiefs Committee. The reason I say that is that, for example, if I was appointed from my tribal council, my first meeting will be in September. My election's coming up in October, so it's kind of moot. But I think the answer is there, where it says tribal councils and others as appropriate. I think that would be my answer. So thank you.
Okay, Migach. Proxy Cynthia Fiddler, Sandy Lake.
Hello. Hi. Just a couple of amendments. The first, treaty number 9 and treaty number 5, for the Ontario First Nations only, because it extends into Manitoba and Saskatchewan. And then the independent bands, because there are two different treaties, so like one from Treaty 9 and one from Treaty 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So looking to the team, I think they got that. So it's referring to the Ontario portion of Treaty Number 9 to specify. So there's a couple of spots there they're changing. When there's a reference to Treaty Number 5, it's the Ontario portion of Treaty Number 5. Yeah, so they've got the second change. Just to read it into the record, the first whereas, the Ontario portion of Treaty Number 5, the third whereas, sorry, not the third, the last whereas, and the Ontario portion of Treaty Number 5. So the second requested amendment would be under paragraph 2. Did you get the request? So to paraphrase, what she's saying is where it talks about independent bands. I think what she's saying is that there should be one from the Treaty 5 independent bands and one from the Treaty 9 independent bands. Having said that, I'll stick my neck out. It's not my role. I don't know if independent bands is the right term either. So we're just working on that one. Are you okay with the first one, Chief Abbas? The Ontario portion? Chief Loon? You're good with that? Okay. And then the second request is under paragraph 2.
To make a comment?
Yeah.
How come we're just making a resolution just out of the blue? You know, that's not really my opinion. That's just only mine. It's like we're rushing through just to make a resolution just to say we made a resolution. And everybody's mindset is not set on establishing what this resolution is going to establish. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. We're just making a resolution just to say we're making a resolution. Because we're adding, and I know this consultation never really happened, not having a really open discussion about this because that the lawyer brought this here to us to say you guys should make that. But there's not enough time to have this discussion because I have concerns about that, what this committee is going to do. I know that's my opinion. I don't know what everybody else feels. Like we're just rushing through this resolution and then what happens after? And who's going to make it? Because you're saying, rush through this and we'll get this immediately done. Because our tribal councils have to establish somebody. And then that's not going to take until maybe after September, as Chief Sunny was saying. I know we're rushing through a resolution just to make a resolution happen. I know it shouldn't happen that way. That's just my opinion. And I think when resolutions do come forward, we should have them previous ahead so we can read them and come back with questions instead of, oh, we got to add this, oh, we got to add this. No, don't make sense. It's like we're rushing. I don't know if we're rushing to get out of here or our minds are not in the right state of mind. I know we got lots. I know it's a long day and then we have other things to do. I know, like, that's just my opinion. I don't know. I'll leave it at that because I just hate the fact that we're rushing through this and this is not really. I know that's just me.
Okay, so before I go to a proxy link later, so there's a question of are we rushing? There might be a perception that we're rushing on the resolution in part because of the number of the amendments. And I recognize sometimes some resolutions have a lot of amendments. So on that question, I'm going to ask the mover and seconder, having heard that, if they wish to proceed or divert. If you want to proceed, then we'll come back to this requested amendment and then proxy link later. But Gishpin Panama then that's your call.
You know what I think? Last fall, I think we had a meeting on treaty, right? We talked about these cases, litigation cases that are happening. And NAN didn't really have a specialized committee or that can really deal with these litigations that are happening on treaty related matters that will impact us when courts decide on them. And at least if we could get a committee to look at these litigations and analyze them and tell us if 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 there is a court decision on them, and then this is how it's going to affect us, that kind of thing. I would like to continue with this resolution because we need the Chiefs Committee. Chiefs Committee, get the chiefs together to kind of oversee and get the ball rolling in dealing with the treaty in terms of litigation, and then also reviewing the treaty that we have and the laws of Ontario and the laws of Canada that may already impact the treaty. Yeah.
Okay, so the recommendation by the mover is to proceed. Seconder, are you okay proceeding?
So I'm just gonna add a little more to that too as well. When we had this treaties meeting back in February, one of the thoughts that we had as chiefs, or some of the chiefs, when I was talking to them in our breaks and stuff, we needed to make some kind of political statement or some kind of statement, and not just have treaty meetings and not have nothing come out of it. Unfortunately, sadly, nothing came out of it. Even though when we said we should have a statement right after this meeting because we have to make a strong statement regarding our treaties. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. Maybe it would have happened if we did set up maybe some kind of committee to make that statement on our behalf, because it's that important, that serious to make that type of statement. So I'm okay with proceeding, but at the same time, if the chiefs feel like this is being rushed, then I'll agree with that too, because it's a serious thing. And if we're collectively going to decide not to proceed with this right now, then fine, let's not proceed with it. But make a collective decision. Again, I refer to this. I'm a warrior at mine. If I get my marching orders, then I will go march to those orders. And if the collective decides not to right now, then I'm okay with that too. But as long as we come to a consensus to move forward, I'm okay with that too.
Okay, Miigwech. So what I'd like to do then, I know there's 3 hands that have been raised. There's a recommendation to proceed, also a feeling of whatever the mood of the room is, the consensus. But I want to come back to the friendly amendment. So paragraph 2, it's in yellow up on the screen. The addition requested is, so this is the composition: Independent First Nations Alliance and Independent First Nations, in brackets, 1 from Treaty Number 9 and 1 from the Ontario portion of Treaty Number 5, the non-executive council, and include the assistance of technical staff from tribal councils and others as appropriate. So that's the amendment. Chief Webas, good. Chief Loon, okay. Proxy Victor Linklater.
I had a question that was never answered about. I'm pretty sure we had a resolution on setting up a treaty committee before. I would say about 2.5 years ago, and I'm looking towards Luke, but I can't find him, but it may already be in place. And if there is one, then that work can begin with some of this other stuff, and then we could work on a vision and a mandate after and do the approval later, so.
Okay, so I understand the team has just checked if there's a resolution you're talking about. The last resolution is 9956, so that's 1999. Mover was Chief Eno C. Anderson, Casabonica, Chief Mike Kakaji, seconded. So again, this was 1999.
Yeah, I wasn't born then, Adam, so.
Neither was I.
About 2 years ago, so. Okay, man, we did have discussion on it, maybe no resolution.
It's I'm just told that there was discussion, so probably no resolution. Yeah. Thanks for bringing that back up. Yeah. Chief Wesley.
2019.
Oh, was there?
It's nothing important really. I was just concerned about the number two, the committee members. And I just wanted to point out that many of us sit on many boards and committees already. And I think we're going to be stretched to the max in terms of what we are doing already, many of us. So I wonder, to the mover and seconder, that you should reconsider who sits on that committee. It doesn't necessarily have to be the chief, in my opinion. You know, it's at what time is it? I'm still sitting here. It's 7 o'clock. That demonstrates how much work we already do, and then you're tacking on another committee for us to be on. So I just wanted to point that out.
Okay, maybe I can suggest chief's representative. You know the chief, okay, we're the chief, and then we say, okay, we're gonna appoint this person to be the committee member. Chief's representative, chief or chief's representative, at their choice and their discretion of who should they appoint, or they accept to be the member. The chief accepts to be the member, or chief appoints is a rep. Yeah.
Okay, so it's up on the screen. Right at the top of paragraph 2, it says comprise one chief or chief's representative. Okay, seconder, you okay with that? Okay. Chief Custodian. Chief Custodian online. I understand you had a question maybe on chat, but if we can have you, Chief Sylvia Custodian with that open. If you're there, I think you had a comment on chat, but we just wanted to formally recognize you. Chief Custodian Matadoaban.
Hello. Yes, I did make a statement online. And I was just saying that we're creating another process while our homelands and our treaty are being attacked. And I'm just asking, what are we gonna do? You know, this bill is going to be approved. What are we doing? Our nationhood is on the line. And we can't wait and wait while a process or dialogue happens. It's been too long. And I've been listening in to these conversations on and off. There's a lot of things that's happening in my community. And there's lots of things that needs to be done. And a lot of our rights, it's being ignored. It's on the sidetrack. You know, there has to be some kind of movement. We have to show them that we're united. We have to tell the whole world that we are here despite everything that's happened to us. We need to get our members on board. We need to tell our members what's happening. And I realized then there's a lot of stuff happening that impedes the important work that needs to be done with all the crises that we face. You know, nothing cannot happen in our homelands until we look after our communities that are in a state of crisis. We're not saying no to development, but development can't happen without us being at the tables. And I know how everybody has different interests, different ideas. We have to come together and we have to straighten out our corporations. What is it that we want from them? It impedes the work that some of us wants to do within the structures at play. Even though we kept saying NAN is not a treaty right holder. What is it we're asking? What is it we're saying then? there's a lot at stake, and I find that direct, immediate action needs to happen to show the provincial government and the governments, direct action is needed. That's what I'm gonna do. It needs to be done. And I know processes, I know things need to happen, and I know this, but right now, with the way things are happening, we need that. And I'll be doing that. English, that's what I wanted to say.
Miigwech. So I think that's everybody in the room and virtually. I don't see any more discussion. Yeah, Chief Saint Denis. I'll say it in the French way.
Just so you know, Adam, I anglicized it a long time ago.
Okay.
I just wanted to ask a question. Chief Loon had said that early on when this first happened, he said like a statement, like what's that letter have looked like? Like, was there any talk, based around the suggestion of the letter, like what was going to go in the letter, what would have happened? Because when I'm looking at it, we all have things going on in our First Nations, and we've said that. We talked about getting dragged into, this process if it didn't fit what we wanted. So I was just curious on if there was any discussion on that letter that was suggested to go out by the chief here and what it would have looked like in general.
Chief Loon, are you able to respond regarding a letter that you mentioned?
So that's just it. When we're at that setting, as chiefs, we didn't necessarily come up with a letter. We just said we should suggest that a statement be made on behalf of Nan Nation because we're talking about our treaties. How that would look, we didn't know. It was mentioned that maybe we should come up with a statement because as a chief, we felt like, okay, we're going to talk about our treaty here, but we need to make some kind of statement because knowing that this is coming down the pipe, for lack of better words, Bill 5 and everything else that's coming down, we need to make some kind of stance. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. And that statement was never drafted or even considered. I don't know, but it was mentioned. That's why we said nothing.
Okay, Miigwech. So I understand the letter now. So there was a special chiefs assembly in February. I can't remember the exact dates. And there was discussion that there would be a declaration or a statement on treaty. And that's what Chief Loon is talking about. So there was a draft presented earlier today, this afternoon. Luke's just looking for a copy. It would have gone around. It's still a draft. So it's for your consideration to bring forward at a future assembly. My eyes are good, but not that good. I think that might be the legal opinion from Amy Westway. So it's a different document. What's it look like, Luke? We'll make sure you get a copy, Chief St. Denis. Thank you. I'm glad you haven't whacked me over the head yet. Okay, I think that was it for questions. Now, chiefs, if you're going to leave, let us know because we're very close to quorum. And I know that there are chiefs outside, but I do need quorum for the vote. And I think we're pretty much ready for the vote. Any more comments, questions? If not, I'm going to call for question. If I can confirm that we have quorum, but I know that at least two are out. Yeah, are out in the hall. So okay, question has been called, but I cannot have a vote yet. I need to confirm quorum. In the back as well. And then online. And then online as well.
Oh, we have one. Oh, we have one. Oh, we have two.
Oh, Chief Duncan, did you just walk in? So two more. Okay, we have quorum. Okay. Resolution is before you. It is the resolution we've been dealing with. Resolution 2515. Question's been called. Any opposition? Any opposition? Last call, opposition? None? Any abstentions? Abstentions. Last call, any abstentions? Online, nothing. So with that, resolution is carried by consensus. So thank you. That's resolution 2515. So next, we're going to keep plugging away. But again, if you do have to leave, if you're just going out in the hall, that's great. If you have to leave, let us know. We have to monitor the count. So Chief Dennis, we'll have St. Dennis. No, oh, I'm going to get whacked here. You're making me jittery here. Luke will bring over that document. Okay, so next resolution is 2516. So here's an interesting technical situation. There's a request to defer this and deal with it future assembly, or not deal with it today, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, normally I'd ask the mover and seconder. If you look at the draft, we don't have a mover and seconder. So unless somebody wants to move or second, we've got really no resolution to deal with because there is a request to table it to a future assembly, unless there is a mover or a seconder. So I'm going to ask, do we have a mover for resolution 2516? It's titled Treaty Number 9 and Treaty Number 5, Vision, Mandate, and Notice to Profession. Do we have a mover?
Covers some of the points anyway, so we can.
Chief Wabas, we'll move it. Do we have a seconder? Deputy Chief Brown. Very good. So we do have a mover and a seconder. Now, so I have to go through the process. I'm just gonna, Chief Wabas, I'm gonna ask, before we get into it, I mean, there was a request to defer it to another assembly and not deal with it here, but do you wish to proceed?
Yeah, I move this resolution to have a discussion. And there's a question that we need to put it on a table for now. I agree.
What, we'll get into it or deal with it later?
Later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another
Table.
assembly. Table it?
Yeah.
To another, okay.
Table.
Are you okay tabling it, Panma? Okay. So resolution's been not removed, but tabled to a future assembly. Okay, thank you. Next resolution, 2517. 2517, it's titled Establishment of a Chiefs, another Chiefs Committee. Establishment of a Chiefs Committee on Sustainable Initiatives. Mover is Chief Jennifer Constant, who's here, seconded by Chief Merle Loon, who's also here. So it's titled 2517. It reads, therefore be it resolved that NAN is mandated to undertake an internal review of all historical documents related to the Sustainable Initiatives mandate to inform and support future work. Further be it resolved that the NAN Chiefs and Assembly mandate the NAN Executive Council to explore the establishment of a Chiefs Committee on Sustainable Initiatives to provide leadership, guidance, and strategic direction on these critical matters, including economic development, climate change, lands and resources, and food sovereignty. Further be it resolved that the Executive Council is directed to develop a terms of reference for the proposed Chiefs Committee to be presented at the next Chiefs Assembly for review and ratification. Finally, be it resolved that the work of the Chiefs Committee shall be grounded in the principles of community-driven development and self-determination, and shall uphold the rights, autonomy, and jurisdiction of NAN First Nations over their lands, resources, and futures. Dated at Toronto, Ontario, typo there in Ontario, this 21st day of May 2025, moved by Chief Jennifer Constant, Matagami First Nation, seconded by Chief Merle Loon, Mushkegowagamak First Nation. Chief Constant, do you want to speak to it?
Absolutely. I was hoping to kind of push for this earlier, but again, sustainable initiatives got bumped off the agenda for today, which I don't know if it's ironic or just in line with prioritizing. But I do support this. This actually furthers some of the work that I used to do when working for the organization. And again, I say this because it's something that I'm impassioned about. The dispossession of our lands and our control over our lands contributes to a lot of the social issues, if not all of the social issues that you see in our communities. So as I said earlier, if we want to address those issues, we have to do it pragmatically with these types of committees through the organization, and to make sure that that's a priority for us. So I support it and look forward to moving it forward.
You got Chief Loon?
Yes, I support this as well. I mean, one of the things that caught me when I was reading this resolution was the climate change and also the land and resources part of things. Obviously, we always want to be mindful of Mother Earth. And because being mindful of Mother Earth, and we live on Mother Earth, when we take care of ourselves and we try to take care of Mother Earth as best we can and protect her. So for now, I'll just leave it at that. This is why I support this in second.
You got any other discussion, comments, questions? Proxy, Victor, go ahead.
I'm very passionate with this too. There needs to be a balance and, you can't have one without the other, but there is a typo and further be resolved there. Lands and sand resources. I know we like aggregates, but I think it's supposed to say land and resources. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So that change has been made. Did I just breeze by that when I read it? I didn't even pick it up. Okay, we made that change. Thank you. Yeah. Maybe it's pink. Yeah, Chief Wesley.
I just want an amendment on there to include designates, because a lot of the work here is geared towards our economic development folks.
So chiefs or their designates. So that would be on the top of the first. No. I'll just make that change. Anybody else while we're doing that? Designates, when you're appointing, where is that? Is there a reference specific to the first, therefore be resolved? Second, yeah, bottom of page 1. When we're talking about the Chiefs Committee. So I think the recommendation is that it can be a chiefs or the designates. You'd have to change the context a little bit. Yeah, so they're just doing that now. While they're doing that, any more discussion? Comments? Well, they're going to have to change the wording a little bit. But if there's any comments. No more comments? Nothing online? Oh, yeah, Chief Nishnawbe Aski.
Just the first, in addition to the further be resolved, I think for our communities, energy is a very critical matter. So just wanted to see if we could add that on there. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Miigwech. So we've added energy. Did we make the other change? Was there another change? Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay. So the second last further be resolved.
talks about for the proposed Chiefs Committee, in brackets, chiefs or their designates. And then the other change is, scroll up at the bottom of page 1. We've added energy as one of the areas. Mover, are you okay with those changes?
I'm fine as long as the chiefs and assembly are okay with it.
Okay. Seconder, you're good with it? Okay, everybody's okay? Nobody objects? Okay. With that, I'm going to call for question. Any opposition? Opposition to the resolution? Opposition? Last call? None? Abstentions? Abstentions? Last call for abstentions? Nothing online either. So resolution is carried by consensus. Thank you very much. Next one is 2518. So you all have a copy. It'll be up on the screen. We do not have a mover or a seconder for this resolution. So as I go through it, please, I'll be asking for a mover or seconder. So it's titled Support for Nan Water Summit 2025 Summary and Strategic Insights Report and Recommendations. So it reads, therefore be it resolved that Nan Chiefs and Assemblies support the Nan Water Summit 2025 Strategic Insights Report and Recommendations. Further be it resolved that the Nan Executive Council is mandated to utilize the Nan Water Summit 2025 Strategic Insights Reports in their advocacy efforts to improve the water, wastewater, and source water protection concerns for Nan communities. Further be it resolved that the Nan Chiefs and Assembly direct the Nan Executive Council to collaborate with the Nan Remote First Nations, tribal councils, and government partners in developing solutions that meet the water, wastewater, and source water protection needs of all Nan First Nations. Further be it resolved that Nan Executive Council is mandated to advocate for a legislative and regulatory framework that fits the water, wastewater, and source water protection needs of Nan First Nations and to facilitate open information sharing between government partners and First Nations in Nan territory. Finally, be it resolved that the implementation of this resolution is without prejudice to similar existing and future initiatives at the First Nation and Tribal Council levels. Dated at Toronto, Ontario, this 21st day of May, 2025. So I'm going to ask for a mover and a seconder. Is there a mover? Jason, thank you. Proxy Batiste, seconder. Eeny, meeny, miny. Okay, Chief Marshall Beardy, thank you. Proxy Batiste.
Just moving it with one amendment in the second, be it resolved in the back, just remove the word remote. It's redundant. Of course, we're going to consult with all the nations. It doesn't need to reference remote. So the third last resolve says to collaborate with Nan First Nations. It doesn't need to reference remote First Nations. Of course, we're going to do that. So just
yep. Okay.
With that,
so that's the third last further read result. Okay.
Yep.
Anything else?
Nope.
Good. Chief Beardy.
I think there should be another paragraph here indicating, I was at the Nan Water Summit meeting here in February. There was talk about a water declaration here. I understand a water declaration would protect our waters from any contamination coming from mining, logging, and all that kind of thing. Shouldn't there be a line item there that indicates the water declaration should be recognized not at the provincial level, but at a federal perspective, like at interprovincial, I mean. Why I say that is like our water, especially in my area, crosses over to the Manitoba side. We all know, me and you, Adam, both know that the Severn River flows out from Lake Winnipeg and still goes out west. If there's any sort of wide water diversion occurring, let's say from Manitoba into the USA, we'd be in trouble. So how can we word something that the water declaration be recognized as interprovincial, but not necessarily Ontario side. Thank you.
Yep, Miguel. So you're asking for a reference to the water declaration. I know exactly what you're talking about. We were both there, but I can't really speak to it. It's not my place. So I'm looking to Mike McKay behind
Yeah.
you. Because I know that the water declaration hasn't actually been.
Yeah, I know it's but it should be put out there. It's a work in progress, you know, like I mean it should advocate for not necessarily our area, but all of the 49 First Nation communities under that one banner, Nishnawbe Aski Nation. Thank you.
Yeah, Miguel. So I'm looking to Mike McKay. You heard that? And he's working with the resolutions team. So just if I can draw your attention, this would be the second last further be it resolved. And they're just typing it up as we speak. Oh, Chief Wesley, yeah.
On the water declaration, I haven't taken part in some of the activities that have happened in the recent past, but I think we, as a nation, Nan Nation, we should take a stronger position on water. I think it's imperative that we do that because of that that guy down there is causing lots of problems. And there's already a water diversion that's been happening for, I don't know, the past couple of decades. But I think me, Cat Lake, being responsible for 5 watersheds, I think it would be imperative upon me to push for something like that, because you know I supply all the water to the whole area, and I think at this stage in the Earth's life, water is starting to be more and more important, and we have to position ourselves to ensure that we protect that water. So I don't know how what we have currently, but I think we do definitely need some kind of water statement. Thanks.
Good. So here's what we have. It's up on the screen. Further be it resolved that Nan Executive Council is mandated to develop a draft water declaration to protect water at the interprovincial level from various forms of development and diversions, including the declaration recommendations from the Water Summit. So Chief Beardy, is that what you're looking for?
I don't like the word draft prior to water declaration. I basically want something to state develop a water declaration. You want your declaration to be strong, stout. You know what I mean? Like it's for everybody, right? Like I understand water is everything. Water is life. As there was a gentleman that was sitting there and he was wearing a T-shirt. Water is life, and like it's true. We have these water keepers, one are woman. You know, like they hold a special place here, and I'm pretty sure that they'd probably back this resolution, let alone a declaration. That they'll be standing in front of everybody, is what I'm saying. Thank you.
We're good.
Yeah.
So the team has removed the word draft. Okay. Chief Wesley, does that do it for you? What you're asking for? Okay. When I take in the mover. When you can't. Oh yes, mover and seconder. Oh, you're good with it, obviously. Anybody else? It's getting late. Are you calling for question? No? Oh, sorry, Chief Wesley.
I don't think interprovincial is enough. I was referencing the states there earlier, and I was talking about the orange guy.
There it is. At the international level. Okay. Mover? Jason? Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Chief Taylor.
Good evening, Chief Taylor Gunagamin. To make, I guess, our resolution stronger, could we perhaps include, some of our communities already have our own water declarations in place? And can we include the community First Nations water declarations to the work that's going to be undertaken through this resolution? Which
Yeah, I got you. So the team is just looking at some wording they can include. After that, any more comments or questions? I don't hear any more, so we'll just deal with this amendment and then I'm going to call for question. Good. Okay, so now has added recommendations from the Water Summit and existing First Nation water declarations and similar statements. Chief Taylor, so do it. Okay. Jason, you're okay? Chief Beardy, you're okay? Okay, very good. So it's resolution before you. Any opposition? I've called for question. Any opposition? Opposition? Opposition, last call. None. Abstentions? Abstentions? Last call. Any abstentions? None. So resolution is carried by consensus. So Migach, thank you. As amended. Next resolution we are dealing with is 2519. So 2519, I don't have a mover or seconder, so I'm going to read it and then I'm going to ask for a mover and seconder. So resolution 2519, it's titled Comprehensive Review of NAN Governance and Management Structure and the Development of Sovereign and Incorporated Entities. So it reads, therefore be it resolved, the Chiefs and Assembly authorize and mandate a comprehensive governance and management structure review of NAN to be undertaken through a professional consulting firm or equivalent qualified entity, including experienced officials from tribal councils and other NAN-related organization. Maybe that's a typo, it might need an S. Under formal terms of reference approved by the Chiefs Committee on Governance. Further, be it resolved that the scope of this review shall include a full assessment of NAN's current governance and management systems, mandates, policies, and internal structure. Research and legal analysis on how NAN can operate as a sovereign Indigenous governance entity outside of federal and provincial corporate legislation. The development of a culturally grounded Indigenous law-based governance entity from which the Grand Chief and Deputy Grand Chiefs will be governed under First Nation laws, policies, and protocols. The exploration of a federally or provincially incorporated services entity to operate government-funded programs, implement funding agreements, hire staff, and manage audits and reporting obligations. A review of NAN's current electoral policy and process and development of options for a custom Indigenous electoral system, including mechanisms to align or operate independently of provincial and federal legislation. Broad-based community consultation and engagement with NAN member First Nations to ensure the legitimacy, relevance, and collective ownership of all proposed changes. Further, be it resolved that the selected consulting firm or qualified entity shall deliver comprehensive final report with findings, analysis, and recommendations, proposed governance models, including traditional and contemporary frameworks, drafts of enabling policies, organizational frameworks, and implementation strategies, a formal presentation to the NAN Chiefs Committee on Governance and Chiefs in Assembly for review and decision-making. Further, be it resolved that the review shall be conducted within a reasonable time frame and budget, Finally, be it resolved that Nan Chiefs and Assembly affirm their collective commitment to strengthening Nan's sovereignty, transparency, and effectiveness by restructuring its governance foundation to reflect the laws, rights, and aspirations of the Treaty Number 9 and Treaty Number 5 nations. Dated at Toronto, Ontario, this 21st day of May, 2025. So that's the draft. It's up on the screen. You have a copy. Can I have a mover? Chief St. Dennis? Seconder? Chief Archie Wabas. So we have a mover and seconder. Chief, do you want to speak to it?
Yeah, I'm gonna motion this, only because, you know, we come to the table and it's the same thing all the time. If we're gonna go back to our communities and talk about Nan, I want to talk about it in a way that it's a positive. It's not always negative. Like I said, I've been coming here in different capacities as proxy as for a very long time, and somewhere along the line, we always hear this. So I would just like to put that to rest. I know it's not going to be to rest forever, but at least for a while where we can say that we're, like Chief Birdie said, unity, strength, and success. If it's not there, so that's why I'm going with this.
Good. Chief Wabas?
I second this resolution because I think the talk of restructuring or reorganizing our NAN, that talk has been going on forever. So this resolution will, get it into action and try to fix up our non-governance, and also look at the the sovereignty side of First Nations. Try to come up with a really good, strong organization or an entity that we could really rely on, and that's why I support it. So thank you.
Very good. Floor is open. Chief Wesley, and then Proxy Batiste. Chief Wesley, go ahead.
You want to recognize this young man here?
Hi, my name is Cohen. So we brought our resolution up to the resolutions team, which has been denied. But we believe that because this was during the in-camera session yesterday, that the chiefs had asked us to bring a resolution for today. Our resolution does have a mover and a seconder. And we believe that our resolution is very similar to this one. And yesterday we did speak about how, or the chiefs had spoke about how our resolution and this resolution were had the same ideas and thoughts, and that we can sort of combine them. So we're asking if our resolution could be brought up onto the screen.
So we're gonna, does the technical staff have it? Have a copy?
Yes, yeah, they do.
So the draft resolution that you have, we'll have that up on the screen. No? I'm not sure if we can do that technically. Just gonna look to the team. I know Mike is coming up. So he'll explain a little bit of the process.
Oh, I can do myself. Yeah, sorry about that. It just came in too late. Like we were just completing the resolutions that were in time. So we don't have it formatted because it came in too late. What you said about yesterday, of course, is correct and all that, but sorry about that. I can suggest that if I think there might be a Jordan's principal resolution being considered tomorrow morning, so we could certainly get it ready for tomorrow morning, but I mean, that would create the risk of no quorum, I suppose. I think we got it in around 5:15, 5:30, and it just came in too late for us to process. So apologies.
Yeah, so what we were asking is because we know that it hasn't been properly formatted, that it could be added onto this resolution, which is already formatted and has the almost similar to like the wording that we have on our resolution.
I think, yeah. So that resolution you're talking about deals with governance?
Yeah, yes, it does.
Yeah, but it's probably, I just wondered, like squeezing it into this resolution might be a difficult process. Yes.
So just in terms of process, St. Dennis had her hand up and then proxy link later, but I wanted to finish with the youth first. So one at a time. It's tied into the, wait, did you have a question? Did you? Oh, okay, so, sorry, too much happening. So here's the process when we deal with resolutions. I'll take a step back. There's usually a resolution deadline. The team has to review the resolutions. There's a process that they go through. There's a legal review. There's a whole process, and then it's presented. So what I think I'm hearing is that we're dealing with this one resolution right now. There's potentially some amendments that might be proposed. I think somebody might be saying, okay, we have some other text. Can you incorporate that into this resolution? I think is what I'm hearing. So if that's the case, we can do that, but it's technically awkward to put a different resolution on the screen. But if you have a copy in front of you, you can read it into the record. And if you're asking for that to be incorporated into here, that's your prerogative as chiefs. So before I move to Chief St. Dennis and then Victor, I just want to finish. So would you like to sort of read into the record proposed an amendment? And if so, that needs to come from a chief. So with due process, sorry, Victor, I don't want to jump the gun, but Chief St. Dennis?
So that's what I'm kind of trying to do. I'm trying to get a copy so I can take a quick look at that and see if we can get that incorporated, because I'm willing to do that if it pertains to this. So that's why I was trying to get his attention to get that copy over here.
Yeah, so Taya or Ramon, can you bring it up, please?
Okay, now, sorry, Jason. So I'm going to go to Victor and then Jason, and then we'll come back to you, Chief St. Dennis.
Okay, I was gonna move the resolution that they submitted. It is very similar, so, you know, you're right on, Adam. We just wanted to incorporate, you know, and combine two resolutions. The resolution committee did get a copy. I mean, so, you know, they already have the word in.
Okay, thank you. So I'm just going to follow the order. Proxy, Jason?
Yeah, just one addition maybe to as a first whereas. I know that we've done this before. We've done organizational review, we've done governance review, and it's still pretty fresh in my mind. I don't recall the exact dates, but on the governance review, that was done within the last 4 or 5 years, if I recall. We had some changes to the election code, some changes to the procedure, you know, somewhat around the same issues that we're still mulling over. And I'm not against making things better, but where I would like to start is, what have we already done? What do we have on the shelf that can guide the work so we're not reinventing wheels? Because there's no sense, it's going to be expensive, right? This is going to cost lots of money. So I would ask that the mover and seconder entertain that, you know, as a first step, to examine the records that are already suggesting organizational models in our recent past to guide next steps.
We got Chief Wesley.
I think what's different about this proposed process is the return to traditional governance processes, including the election process. I think that's what's different about this. Is actually changing it and returning to our governance system as opposed to amending bylaws, which is what causing all the problems that we're having now. That's what's different about this. And I was going to second that resolution as well, so, but
Go ahead.
Just to give the resolution table a chance to combine both, why don't we defer till tomorrow morning and pass it then? So we can have the wording in there, so. Because right now I'm watching Cheryl and Archie looking at, the two chiefs looking at something on the fly. So, I mean, if we get a little bit more time, we're doing the choose life resolution in the morning anyway. So if we could defer this till then with the correct wording, it might be a better use of our time.
Okay. Thank you for the recommendation. I'm just going to double check on something. Give me 1 second.
Are you done? One more? Excuse me.
Miigwech, thank you for your patience, chiefs. So we just had a huddle, the mover and the seconder, had a quick discussion with the resolutions team. So I think there might be a proposed solution. Okay, we're having a huddle here in the back. Seconder, I don't know if you want to be part of that. Yagin Minugo second the resolution, unless you're okay. I'm going to pause, sort of recess for 2 minutes.
For those that, when I told Archie, just go ahead and pass the omnibus bill. I have a question. Roll up the whole.
We're good? Okay, thank you. We're back. We just took a quick recess to for the mover and seconder to have a huddle on the resolution. So mover, Chief St. Dennis.
Yeah, I'm good with the change. I think Chief Wabash, because we did say, when we put it in there, I think he has a little
Amendment?
blurb. Yeah, just a quick one, nothing
Okay.
big.
Is
That
there-
we're good with.
So the assembly is not aware of your discussions, but is there a proposal that you have that everybody's comfortable with?
Well, he's gonna speak
Okay,
on.
seconder.
Yeah, that resolution that the youth was talking about, I think we're going to just simplify the insertion, the wording in the resolution where Oshkosh Youth Council be part of the planning process, the review, to be part of, the working group or working committee, to be included. Yeah, I think it says that there at the, that highlighted, kind of mentions that, eh?
Okay.
If you could read that out.
The one in orange.
Yeah. The one in orange.
It's orange here, really. Okay, so it reads, further be it resolved that the NAN Executive Council shall ensure that the Oshkosh Youth Council shall be engaged in the review process. Mover, you okay with that? Seconder? Okay. So that's based on a discussion with Oshkosh, that is the proposed amendment. I'm just going to leave it with the mover and seconder. Seconder?
Can you go back up to whereas? There's a
back-
list of instruments there where it says Declaration of Nishnawbe Aski Nation. Maybe include Royal Proclamation on top. That'll be the number one. Put it on top. I think that's a really important document that we can always refer back where where we're recognized as a sovereign nation. Royal Proclamation. Yeah. There you go.
Okay, so that's the amendment. Chief St. Dennis, you're okay with that? Okay. Go ahead, Victor.
One comment that just came to me was, we have advisory committees. You know, we want to hear the voice of our youth, and I'm glad that the youth really pushed it because, they see things different than we do, and, they are going to be our future leaders. But another comment that was just coming forward, well, what about the elders committee and the other advisory committees to be included there? Because if we're looking at true governance, and then we need the voices of all, so.
So this is I understand is a proposed amendment. So I'm going to read it. The amendment would be what we already had, but it would add, along with Oshkosh Youth Council, Elders Council, and Women's Council shall be engaged in the review process. Mover?
Yeah, I'm good with that. My apologies for oversighting that. I just got excited because the youth were strong and they came to the table.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so that meant a lot. When you go want to get on something, you come to the table. So I'm good with the amendment for that. But again, my apologies because I was excited that for the youth.
Very good. Okay, seconder's good with it. Okay. I don't think there's any more discussion, or is there more discussion? Second call? Oh, Chief Brown, Deputy Chief Brown.
You can call me at any time, whatever. Thank you. I just want to, in our discussions the other day, this resolution, according to discussions that we had, this is more this is not corporate. This is from our heart. This is what we're trying to go back to, then treaty number 9, the elders, their vision. We kind of, moved aside from their vision. And this is what we're trying to get back at. And Wesley mentioned it. We know about the Canada Labor Code. I know that. I know about corporate law as well. But this is traditional. The part of it, we need to integrate our traditional mind, a sense that elders fought for in those days. So, in this resolution, it says, where is that resolution? And there we go again. It says, to be undertaken through a professional consulting firm. And if you ask me, do the consulting firm know what we're talking about? No, they don't. Further to that, it said that we establish equivalent qualified so-and-so, right? Tribal council or over delegates that are from the grassroots. And I will support that. But consulting firm, I don't think so. I'm talking about from our perspective. The elders put out when they established this treaty number 9 and then all this and that. I think that's what I understood anyway. Thank you.
Mitch, so I think we hear what you're saying. Do you have a proposed wording or change, or just scratch it? Just delete the consulting firm. Okay, so I'm going to look to the resolutions team. Chief Wesley.
Okay. Yesterday I was talking about when I was being angry. I was talking about we have the personnel that's capable of doing this kind of work. And I actually volunteered some names. And so we've got some very powerful women that are able to do this kind of work. We have powerful technicians that currently manage our organizations. I volunteered some names, as I was saying: Sharon Nato over at Matawa, Dobie Don Fournette at NNEC, Sadie Maxwell at Wendigo, Delaney Fiddler over at Slifna. Those are just some names of people that can undertake this kind of activity that could help assist the youth, the elders, and the women implement these things that we're talking about, as opposed to a consultant who doesn't know who we are or what we're made of or even what languages we speak. But our technicians do, because they work with us every day. They work with our elders, they work with our youth, our women, and they all have faced these issues that we're talking about. And so that was what I was talking about yesterday. And this is what I would suggest for this activity, that we keep it within ourselves. We have to do this ourselves. So.
Chief Taylor.
Yeah, Chief Taylor, Ganugamin. I just wanted to bring up, when we bring up consultants, in order for us to have like a fair, transparent process, it needs to be unbiased also. And in order to have an unbiased look at the whole process, it might take external type people to kind of look at that because we're undergoing our own review with our own tribal council, and that's what the kind of steps we took. And you can always arrange to have a point person for each community that would work with these external type, if it's a consultant or a group of people. But we also have to keep in mind that it should be unbiased. Thanks.
Yeah, so I'm sort of hearing, I've got two chiefs.
Yeah.
But I'm hearing some requested changes. I don't know if the resolution team has got that yet. So I'll deal with that and then I'll come back to you. Okay. Okay, I've got 3 hands raised, but we'll deal with the change first. So on the first, therefore be it resolved, up on the screen, they're just typing it up. It'll be in yellow. I'm just looking at the team here. So it now reads to be undertaken through an independent entity with input from experienced officials from tribal councils and other non-related organizations. So that's the change. Would that do it? And if so, I'm going to ask the mover and seconder. Mover, are you okay with that change?
No, I'm okay with that change because it shows that whatever way we go, I still feel like, not to put the wording there, but that shows that independent entity could still mean, and then we have the balance of the advisor committee. So I'm good with, am I good with that? Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay. Seconder?
Okay. Yeah, I'm good with the wording. I just want to explain that a little bit. What I would like to see is it's almost like a lead advisor that can communicate with the tribal councils. The person that's really wanting to hear from First Nations and technical advisors from our tribal councils. So that's why we're saying that we're going to hire an independent entity or a person. Yeah, that will be the advisor that would lead the planning and review, and from the advice from tribal councils. Yeah, thank you.
You got you. Also, Chief Taylor had the recommendation that it should be unbiased. So I'm looking to the resolutions team. I don't know if they caught that. I think the word you used, Chief Taylor, was unbiased. I can't use my words, but was that what you're getting at? Neutral? Okay, I want to make sure the team has that. Neutral? Okay, so I was going to go to, sorry, let's deal with this first, that amendment. So it would say an independent and neutral entity. Mover, seconder? Okay, all right, Chief Sugarhead. Welcome on.
Ugumakan Michael Sugarhead, Nibinug First Nation. I'm just wondering if there would be a type of terms of reference established to mandate the reviewer to look at certain things. Since it's a corporation and if there's a third party reviewer coming in, it would just look at the corporate part of the of NAN. And if all the T's and I's are dotted and crossed and everything would be okay. But there's other things that do need to look at in reference to say like the emails that we've been getting. If there are things that terms of reference that can be developed so that these kinds of things can be looked at and reviewed. Is that appropriate for this type of thing?
So I'm not sure who could respond to that.
I helped to draft this resolution. And I also helped drafting up terms of reference. There is a copy of terms of reference that could be shared if you have copies like right now. No? That I wrote terms of reference first, and then I wrote the resolution.
Okay, just give us, bear with us. We'll put it on the screen. So we'll have to take the resolution off the screen and then put it up on the screen. Now, do we want to spend a lot of time getting into that? We're getting into the nitty-gritty, and I'm aware of time, and I don't want to lose quorum. It's been a long day. But
That could be thrown in the scope of work.
we want to get into the nitty-gritty. But you have raised a valid concern. I think the question was, is there a terms of reference or scope of the work? So it sounds like there is.
But if there is one, I mean, if we pass this resolution, then we can take a look at the terms of reference and ratify that on a later date if there is one already.
Okay, you're comfortable with that? Okay, and I really apologize. I've lost track of the order. I know Chief Allen and then Chief Beardy, I think.
It was just a quick comment. I don't want to make it long, and as I said, we've been here long enough. What's a reasonable timeline and reasonable cost that we're going to put this whole process through, since we already have done 5 years ago? Or do we just take the old one and blend it in with this? With this committee? You know, that's just my question, because what's the timeline, and says just reasonable. What's reasonable?
I just want to say, you know, okay, 5 years ago is 5 years ago. Things change, things are different. I think fresh, for one, is a good idea. Not incorporating what from 5 years ago, a lot has changed within the organization in the 5 years. I just think it needs to be fresh, where when we come to the table, we can honestly and honorably be proud that we're part of NAN. That's my expectation out of this, is to put, things to rest. Because like I said, I have a tribal council. I don't need to go to NAN because I have, anything I need to get done. So I don't take the time from the other First Nations who do need. But I want to support also those First Nations and make sure that they're getting the care also that they need. But there could be a time when I need, and I want it to be where I'm not ashamed to go to NAN, or I don't want to. So I think that it's about time we do this fresh and we move ahead, and then we can continue with what we need to do for our First Nations.
Gotcha. Chief Beardy.
Am I on? Yes. So I was just reading through the resolution here. It says here, NAN's current governance management systems, mandates, policies. Is that the same as conduct? Would that fall under policies, or do we just squeeze in the word conduct in here? Code of conduct. I haven't seen the code of conduct myself, but it's really important to me that my leader at a much higher government plane is abstaining from alcohol and drugs. I just want that. If it's not there, I think that should be put in place. Thank you.
I'm looking to the mover and the seconder. Initially, I saw a nod. There was a question. Does that include conduct? And I saw a nod. Is there a response?
Yeah. When we when we review an organization, we can't really just say everything on the resolution. We just kind of say, okay, the governance review. What do we mean by the governance review? It's everything. It's everything in that, right? Yes, I would include these, but you probably want to include more stuff later on. I don't know, like I think we should get over with this resolution, or else we're going to be here all night. Yeah. Yeah. Including code of conduct and oath of office, that kind of thing. Sure.
Okay. So I think the response is yes, that includes it, but are you saying you want to add it in there? Okay. He's saying add it in, including the code of conduct. So I'm looking at the resolutions team. There was one more hand that was up, and then I think I'll have to close and call for question. Did I see another hand? Victor, your microphone is on. Was that you? No?
No.
I've been hearing you breathing there. Yeah. The game's going to start soon. I thought it was going to be a really late game, man. Going to be on. Okay. Just the amendment. There it is. It says, including the non-executive code of conduct and the executive oaths of office. Mover, seconder. You're okay. All right. I don't hear any more questions. Final call. Questions been called. Any opposition? Any opposition? Last call. Any opposition? None. Abstentions? I got to do it 3 times. Abstentions? Nothing online. Abstentions? Okay. Resolution carried by consensus. So thank you. We have one more resolution in the package. So I'm going to just keep rolling along. One more. It's 2520. I don't have a mover and a seconder, so I'm going to ask you to consider as we go. You're moving? Oh, there is a mover and a seconder? Okay, sorry. Not on. Must be looking at the wrong version here. I only have the first page. Okay, third page, I don't have a mover and seconder. Is there one? Okay. There's supposed to be? Okay, you know about it, so I'll get to that when we get there. Okay. 2520, Nishnawbe Aski Nation position on the Crown Treaty relationship and free, prior, and informed consent, FPIC, within ancestral treaty lands and and territorial boundaries. So it reads on page 2, therefore be it resolved that the Nan Chiefs and Assembly are united in a shared vision of the Crown Treaty relationship, and that the free, prior, and informed consent of the Nan First Nations as Indigenous and treaty rights holders is required for future development within the ancestral treaty lands and traditional boundaries. Further be it resolved that the Chiefs and Assembly reject the Province of Ontario's unilateral imposition of Bill 5, Protecting Ontario by Unleashing Our Economy Act 2025, including Schedule 9 Special Economic Zones Act 2025, as fundamentally excluding Nan First Nations from meaningful engagement on treaty implementation and the lack of meaningful measures beyond government-driven economic reconciliation and nation-building interests. Further be it resolved that the First Nations are suspect of the economic, trade, and national security crisis being created by the Province of Ontario and the Government of Canada to sidestep the significant Crown inherent rights and treaty obligations of both Crowns to gain accelerated access to our treaty lands, resources, and wealth for their own gain, without a negotiated and straightforward agreement or plan to immediately address the historic poverty, underfunding, emergency needs, and long-term neglect of the people of Nishnawbe Aski since the signing of the treaties. Further be it resolved that the Chiefs and Assembly call upon the Prime Minister of Canada and his Crown Ministers, King's Privy Council of Canada, Canada-US Trade, and One Canadian Economy, Energy and Natural Resources, Environment and Climate Change, to articulate in writing the position of Nishnawbe Aski as the Province of Ontario prepares to proceed with significant rights impacting legislation, regulation, and policy development to secure access to the lands and resources within our treaty boundaries, territories, and homelands. Further be it resolved that the Crowns of Canada and Ontario, represented by King Charles III, the Governor General of Canada, and the Lieutenant Governor of Ontario, be formally advised in writing, including a media release of the Treaty Crown relationship concerns emerging in the James Bay Treaty Number 9, 1905-06 and 1929-30, and Ontario portion of Treaty Number 5 boundaries. Finally, be it resolved that the NAN Executive Council, as directed, to continue to provide updates to the NAN Chiefs and Assembly as a priority on this issue and responses from Crown representatives and government as necessary, and incorporate the Crown Treaty and free, prior, informed consent requirements to long-term political strategic planning and approaches. There might be a typo there, where it says, finally be it resolved that the NAN Executive Council as directed. Is that correct? Okay, that's fixed. Thank you. Dated at Toronto, Ontario, this 21st day of May, 2025. So the mover is Chief Taylor. Thank you. I have it now. Seconder is Chief Quizis, who is also here. Chief Taylor, you want to speak to it?
Yeah, I know it's a long evening. I'm tired too. But this resolution, I support this resolution. It provides a chronological listing of important dates in history. It outlines that we are quite aware of what Canada and Ontario's tactics are in regards to Bill 5. And it also, it gives direction to to our Grand Chief and the Executive Council on the direction that they need to take in regards to what we would like to see for them to, to address Canada and Ontario in regards to FPIC and our treaty rights. Thanks.
We got seconder.
Okay, bonjour. My name is Chief Quizis from Nishnawbe First Nation. I support this resolution. We have lots in stake to address what's coming up with Bill 5, and I think it would be good to have something in place where First Nations will be recognized, having like we got to have a say. It's we have our future, our kids, so it's lots to this resolution, and yeah, I support this. Yeah.
Chief Wesley.
For the record, Mr. Chair, I know you're tired. You missed the whole paragraph.
Oh, did I?
On the fourth, therefore. It reads Crown, Indigenous Relations, Indigenous Services, Justice and Attorney General of Canada, FEDNOR. And there's also a typo on the first, therefore. It should be a capital C in the word consent.
Thank you. Chief Wesley keeps me on my toes. I should actually read it for the record, though. Which one was it? Just for the record. The fourth one? That's the long one, eh? No wonder I skipped it. Further be it resolved that the Chiefs and Assembly call upon the Prime Minister, that one? Did I skip the whole paragraph? I'm looking to the resolutions team. Can you highlight it for me? But we did make that change, typo on the C. So I'm going to read it off the screen here. Be it resolved that the Chiefs and Assembly call upon the Prime Minister of Canada and his Crown Ministers, King's Privy Council of Canada, Canada-US Trade. I know I did this part. One Canadian Economy, Crown Indigenous Relations, Indigenous Services Canada, Justice and Attorney General of Canada, FEDNOR, Energy and Natural Resources, Environment and Climate Change, to articulate in writing the position of the federal government in regards to the protection of the rights and interests of the people of Nishnawbe Aski Nation as the province of Ontario prepares to proceed with significant rights impacting legislation, regulation, and policy development to secure access to the lands and resources within our treaty boundaries, territories, and homelands. So that's the important one. We got it all in. Thank you, Chief Wesley. Proxy, Victor.
This is kind of a loaded resolution for the last one of the evening. Some of this crosses and some of that discussion when we talked about the treaty committee. And to Chief Anishkam's earlier suggestion on that resolution. Because some First Nations actually, are working with the province to resolve some of their issues, right? Some of these projects. But I would have to, and because it's so heavy as a proxy, I'm gonna have to abstain from voting on this, just because we'll have to take it back to our chief and council. Because I don't want to lock them into something that's, it's gonna affect ongoing negotiations or whatever they have on the table with Ontario and the federal government, so.
Yep, you got. Any more comments? Actually, I went to the, Chief Ganya, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to also abstain from voting on this because I have to take this back to my membership because they don't know Bill 5 until I get their input and direction. I don't want to, come top down on them and support something that they're not aware of. Until I get that direction, then I will voice my vote. So I'll be abstaining from it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the explanation. So, you got. Any more? Chief Nishnawbe.
Good evening. Thank you, Miigwech. I also I'm going to abstain from this because it's a lot right now, and I'll have to take it back also. With all of the work we do, we have a legal counsel involved in our deliberations. We have an environmental lawyer, Aboriginal rights lawyer, tax lawyer. We have a lawyer for all these different fields, and soon a child and welfare lawyer. So, I'm in support of the First Nations having this free and prior informed consent. But right now, I am going to have to abstain from this resolution. I support the First Nations. Thank you.
Good. Chief St. Denis.
Yeah, myself also, I have to bring this back, and just on some advice that because we have things going on and whatnot. I'd love to support it, but right now I just need to know if it's going to infringe on anything that I might have going on moving forward.
Good. So I'm going to ask the mover and seconder, do you want to proceed? Proceed with the resolution? Yes. Seconder? Proceed? Okay. So I don't hear any more comments or questions? Nothing online? Okay, Chief Wabas.
We've always asked ourselves, what are we going to do on this upcoming Bill 5, and also that it's going to impact our treaty rights, our original title rights. At least we have a resolution that says, Chiefs and Assembly reject the province of Ontario's unilateral imposition of Bill 5. we gotta have a resolution that says that. And if my people are asking me, did you guys reject the bill? Yes, we did. Because I would have this resolution, right? And if people are asking me, did you guys reject it? And I said, no. Why is that? I don't know, like, we just didn't pass the resolution. Anyway, I like the part of, where the, writing to, it says, to write and use media to kind of pressure, pressure the government that, okay, we're rejecting your bill, and we're releasing our letter to media, and we're also telling the treaty crown. I guess this is the draft letter that was going around, right? Is that part of that? I'm just wondering. Yeah, Grand Chief Alvin, when we say in this clause, can you clarify on second last clause? It says that the crowns of Canada and Ontario, represented by King Charles III, Governor General of Canada and Lieutenant Governor of Ontario, be formally advised in writing, including media release. Is that letter that's going around here part of this?
So,
No?
No.
This is okay.
yeah. I don't think it needs to be this long, this resolution.
Yeah,
It doesn't need to be this long.
yeah,
It's pretty simple.
uh-huh,
The message that we want to send to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
okay,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, thanks.
The shorter the better. It doesn't need to be 3 pages. Jason.
Yep.
Yeah, Chair, I just listening to Grand Chief Fiddler, and I agree, it doesn't need to be that long. It gets complicated and confusing, especially for those that are in specific talks with some of the agencies that are listed in sort of the third and fourth whereas. If the idea is to give support to general support to FPIC, that's all it has to say.
Mhm.
You know, that the chiefs in assembly direct the NAN executive to promote and advocate for FPIC, and that's our position.
Yep. Yeah.
And I don't think, you know, I think FPIC speaks for itself. And if you want to mention Bill 5 there as a specific reality of why we need FPIC to apply, then that's fine. It seems to be the impetus of this resolution. I think just some of the details are confusing
Yeah.
our chiefs, and that's why they're suggesting they need to abstain. So I would propose an amendment to shorten the resolution to reflect the more of what's intended in, I think, in the title with, yes, we support FPIC, and using that as a
Yeah.
springboard to
Yeah.
deal with some of the challenges that are in front of us, including Bill 5. And then tomorrow, when Alvin and the executive go to Queen's Park, they've got something fresh from us saying, hey, this is the marching orders.
So I think we need some clarity. We're talking about different things, but we're saying that there's too many details in the resolution, too many specific separate issues. One is FPIC, another is opposition to Bill 5. And there's other references to other organizations. So if the request is to remove certain things, I think resolutions team needs to understand what is being asked. So before I continue, Chief Taylor.
Yeah, Chief Taylor, Ganagamin. Yeah, I understand that it could be a little too much and that we need to simplify things as much as possible. But I also do understand that the government is not going to just wait for us either. They're moving ahead. I mean, we got till maybe June 1st. And that we are our own sovereign nation. And that's what this speaks to. That we should be, you know, when they speak to King Charles III, you know, he's coming here to do his business with the Ontario and the federal government. And we are our own sovereign nations also. And they're failing to have any type of consultation for us to be part of these discussions in every area. And that's why it was important to list like all of the different types of ministries that are under Canada and Ontario, because them too, I mean, they all have their own ways of coming up with different types of legislations or bills. And they do this without us as First Nations, and we have every right to be part of those discussions. So that's part of what this is about. If we need to simplify things, we should, and I'm okay with that. But I think we do need to give our, Grand Chief and our Executive Council some direction, because we're all here and we oppose what's going on. We oppose what Canada and Ontario are trying to do to us. And it's time to take some action, and this is part of it. Miigwech.
So I'm looking for some direction. There's a recommendation to remove certain things. So what are we asking to remove? And if we can have the resolutions team maybe use a different color, pink. Okay, remove that. Is that what we're asking for? I'm asking, yeah.
I think there's, Chair, just maybe just for the mover and seconder, if I would beg your indulgence, if you could take it back and maybe redraft it, because there's lots, we're not going to arrive at consensus. We've had 4 or 5 abstainers, and I'm afraid I would probably have to be in that same boat. So if I would respectfully ask, maybe you can take a shot at, revising it and bringing it back in the morning. It's a fairly simple resolution of support against Bill 5. I get it.
Yeah.
And so if you would indulge the assembly, and I would put that as a recommendation, if that's okay.
Okay, so recommendation, mover and seconder. Are you okay with that? Seconder? Mina Gajebag Chapichikadik. Okay, thank you. So we will bring that resolution with some amendments. We'll bring it back tomorrow morning. So with that, I believe that's it for today. A reminder, 8 a.m. 8 a.m. There was a request. Yeah. Hey, we're still online. Better careful. Yeah. Not normally. We're okay. So we're going to close. If you can bear with us, please. I'm going to ask our elder to come up and do the closing. So Elder Barney Batiste will close today's session. We are not officially closing until tomorrow. 8 a.m. We're going to be in camera. Breakfast here at 7:30. So breakfast will be available at 7:30. Reminder, tomorrow we've got lots happening. 2 resolutions. We've got the bus going over to the Bill 5 Standing Committee hearings. Before we close, Chief Gagnon.
Yeah, I'm going to request that on the closing prayer, we say a prayer for my cousin that is going to unplug her Friday. And that happens to be Kevin Lewis. He works for Nan. His mom is in serious condition in hospital. So I'm going to be gone tomorrow morning, go back into Thunder Bay because I'm driving. So I'm going to request that the closing prayer be done to pray for my cousin. Thank you.
Migach. So we'll be thinking about the family. So we'll see you back at 8 o'clock, and I'm going to ask Barney to close. Breakfast is 7:15. Sorry, I made a mistake. 7:15 is breakfast.
So I think it's appropriate that we have a moment of silence for the request that's been put before us. And so we would have a moment of silence for that individual and others that may have suffered the same consequence over the past while. So a moment of silence, and just in your own heart and your own mind, remember and pay homage to this individual that's gone on his journey. Thank you. And many, many thoughts go through our minds when we do something like that about our own people, some folks that we have lost along the way. And so I think it's important to acknowledge that in the way that we do. Now, you've had a long day. I think you've had a successful day. I think you've spoken very well to the issues that were before you. I think that what the resolutions have a familiar ring to them, except I think things have become more complicated as time has progressed for us. And so I thank you for being diligent to be able to deliver some remedial action to those kinds of things that are happening. And so anyway, we now have put our minds together to see what future that we can build for the future, for the people that we're serving. In doing so, we have spoken to one another with kindness and generosity. We thank you, Creator, for providing us with this day to be able to come together to talk about these matters and to be looking over our right shoulder and giving us that good advice to be able to make those good decisions. We are thankful for the day, the surroundings, and we ask the Creator to bless the work that we've done today and also to bless us and give us some peace and kindness as we return to our rooms and to where we're going to rest our heads for the evening. And so again, we ask the Creator to look after those that might be suffering this day, those that might be homeless or ill. And we also ask the Creator to look after those folks, as we say, that have lost a loved one. And so now we will leave and we will return again tomorrow to continue our work. And so I would say just let the good spirits guide you and have some pleasant thoughts and have a good evening. Miigwech. Miigwech. That's a long day, you know what?
We'll get some rest.
Yeah,
We'll get some rest.
I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You might have our morning start.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no. Because they're also forecasting rain. It's gonna be a big